So Gamay, it doesn't have a very illustrious story. It sort of existed for a while, for a couple of decades. Half a dozen or so wineries produced it, but nobody really loved it, and it died out. I was trying to ascertain for my own business what was the red equivalent, potentially, of Chenin. That just loves our soils, loves all of our climates, is happy, healthy, generous in production, easygoing. And then it was like one day I was like, oh God, I'm so stupid. Of course, I know the answer. What loves granite and what loves the sun is Gamay. And the great wines of the northern part of Beaujolais are some of my favorite wines. So I started planting Gamay in 3 different mountainous areas of the Cape to try and test in different types of granite soils, different variants of granite, different aspects, different altitudes, different weather patterns, and sort of in my one lifetime try and do a mini crew system, see what we can find out. Almost 10 years ago now, we planted on the Paardeberg Hills, and then subsequently 4 years ago we planted up in Elgin at altitude on our organic property. Over the last 2 years we've planted now in the Helderberg as well, influenced by the maritime conditions. And then in 2 years' time we're going to be planting in Paardeberg in the Swartland as well. So that way we would have covered 4 very, very different locations and geologies, all linked by the sun and granite. But it wasn't quite as simple as that because there were no plants, there was no material. It had disappeared from the nursery system. So we actually had to find an original old mother block, and we did a massal selection of a few of the vines that didn't show virus. And we propagated from those. It took us 5 years to propagate enough that we could plant 1 small vineyard. And then we've been using that as a resource to propagate from. And then we planted our first vineyard 8 years ago, or thereabouts, about 8 years ago. And when we get to 10 hectares, so we're on about 4.5, 5 at the moment, next year will be 6. And once we get to 10 hectares, then I want to start sharing that material with other people in the industry as well. Because I want lots of people to produce Gamay here. Yeah. Because it rocks.
Oh, I like it.
Subliminal advertising.